Let's see.
What's up, everybody?
My
We're
man,
live. We should be live on both channels, so you guys should.
Okay.
This should sync up here in a second. He's Jeff. I'm Steve. We haven't done a live stream yet before.
First one, man. This is it.
I
This
know.
is it. We've been
This
rocking
is
on
it.
each other's channel for a while now, though.
I know,
I'm
and
always
you know,
in your comments.
It's funny, man. Like I find myself more and more, even on my audio podcast, which was the first thing that I was doing, but I find myself even like quoting, not necessarily quoting you, but talking about something you talked about. And I always give you the credit. I'm always like, you know, Jeff was saying, and I'm like, God, that's like the only person I really give information about anymore. Like, because nobody else has any.
Yeah, thanks, man.
I mean, like you and I see eye to eye. We know that every TOS says we're independent contractors. Well, guess what, guys? Go look at every state is this close to the same. Go look at what an independent contractor is.
Yep.
And
a lot of people,
Jeff's been telling you guys this forever. I have too. So let's.
Yep. Stop thinking you're an employee. You did not walk into human resources to get this job. You are a business right off the ground. And 100%. It's like run yourself like a business. Yep.
So yeah, this has been coming for a while, guys. We'll see what we get through. Who knows what we'll get into. I'm stoked to have Jeff here though, and finally be doing this. So I put a starting topic, a jumping point, because you see my hat on, Dumpling. I don't know if you're familiar with the Dumpling platform.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about it before. Yep.
Okay, so it's definitely you set your own prices. You have to find your own clients. They're not dishing them out to you. This is what you're talking about all the time. Private rides, get private clients, blah blah. This is what that is.
That's good.
So the people who don't make it on Dumpling, because you set your prices, you decide if the charge is being transferred to the customer or if you're going to eat it and then try and get a better tip out of it. Like, you're making all your decisions. You can list anything. You can do anything. You can decide, I want to be a notary public, and you can add it to your Dumpling thing, and they'll fund you up to $2,000 on the card, $5,000 if you call.
What? Can I be a mechanic on Dumpling?
Yeah. Yes.
No, don't tell me that.
Yeah. Think of it like this, Jeff. It's like a landing portal that has the credit card processing built in at a very fair fee. And you're going to set all the rates.
Oh,
and so basically it gives you the profile. It says, yeah, I can do rideshare, but I also do welding. I do car maintenance. I do whatever, you know?
See, and that's how some of my clients whose cars I'm actually working on, I got them from Rideshare. Yeah. And so, I don't know, Dumpling, man, it's a different type of app. It's not just a one-track app. It sounds like it's opening the market for all your talents. Like, what do you do? Like, hey, this is what I do. I like that, man. Because people think that we just drive. They have no idea who we are. What else do you do? Oh, if I had a Dumpling account, you know.
Yeah, I mean, with Dumpling, you can add things on the fly. Like, I have a client, like, they're like, do you mind bringing the groceries in and putting them in my kitchen? No, I'll put them in your fridge. I don't care. Yeah. Like, and I mean, I even say, like, you don't know, I always get extra tips, but I always say, you don't have to pay me anything extra either. I'm like, I prefer that because Instacart tells you to throw it in the dirt.
See,
like, I don't want my groceries in the dirt.
Yeah, just put it right there. It's like, no,
of course I'll carry it in, dude. You paid a lot of money for this food. Of course I'll bring it in for you.
Exactly. Like, and I mean, I do that with people's luggage and everything. I'll bring it into the house, even if you could just leave it there. No, let me just bring it closer to the door for you. I'm not leaving your luggage in front of the garage. I'll bring it up to the door at least. It's like, man.
Yeah, but you can add on the fly. They can say, hey, are you able to walk dogs? Yup. I can charge you this. And then you can, I do, like, if somebody has me do 4 different shops, the way I have mine set up is $20 per stop minimum. So if you want $1 worth of things, $20, and then or 15% once it hits 150 of the grocery total or each store's spend. Yeah. So I'm getting 15% if it's over $150 on 4 stops or 1 stop, and then they tip me. Then I did one today. Took me 25 minutes. I made $58.
Damn, that's good. That's good.
That's just a client who just needed. She's like,
that's over $100 today.
Yeah, she was like, I know that you only do tomorrow, but can you do it today? I'm like, yeah, no problem.
See, that's how. That's how we treat our business. Clients. Yep, that's exactly how we treat our clients. Like yesterday, when I was doing my rides last night, is when they hit me up. Hey, Jeff, my mom and my son are coming back from Mexico. Can you pick them up tomorrow at 6:12 p.m.? I got them. Don't worry about it. They just,
Yeah.
I mean, give me a 24-hour notice, a 12-hour notice. I'll be there. And that's how it is. You know, when people start doing more customer service and we teach drivers how to run a business, not just turn on the app and be instructed on what to do. You set your day and you set your time. And you you already know how to hit the ground running. And we're working
in the
on
dumpling
drivers,
app,
man.
even you set the times that you're available, how many tasks you can be taking on from clients during that time. You set your zones by zip codes, so you can just keep adding zip codes if you're willing to work in those areas.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean it's great, but
yeah, because Robert, he just posted the link right there. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna look that up.
And again, here's the thing. So Robert posted the link, but here's the thing about dumpling. It doesn't need to be grocery shopping. And this is where a lot of people get confused. Like, that's like a grocery shopping app. No, it's not. I mean, it is, but you can add, and you can do rideshare on it.
So you can say, hey, I'm a really good driver.
You can put that on one of your things. Like I do rideshare, and then they'll connect the person's card. Anytime that person wants to use it, they just do it through the dumpling app. It goes directly to you. There's no other people involved. And it's a fixed percentage on the processing fee.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, the processing fee. So
like
that's easy.
It's transparent, honest business. Thank you.
Man, I like that. And that's what it is, man. Cut out the middle, man. Because right now we running with Lyft and Uber, and you know, we're walking away with 30% of the transaction, 35, 40% of the transaction. That's what we're walking away with on a lot of occasions. Every once in a while, it'll be lopsided where they'll give us more than what the rider even paid. But that's like, you know, every blue moon. You might see that once every like 3 days where you get paid more than what the driver paid. Otherwise, if you're not declining and reclining everything, you getting paid scraps, because these people are paying, you know, today. I was just arguing today with some James, man. I'm like, I'm working on James right now, not King James, this other James. And the lady paid $96 for a ride from the airport all the way up past the 202, $96, and he got $40. I was like, bruh, those are rides you convert. No, don't do that, man. It's like, that hurt my heart just hearing he got $40. That hurt me, man, because I love my drivers, man. That hurt my heart. I was like, $40, man.
Yeah. I mean, so here's I got to give you accolades on where I took a page of where you actually kicked me into gear for something I was trying to do for a while. So I'm on Instacart. Instacart sucks. Every day it sucks. I mean, some people have better luck than I do. I've said, Tony, the Driven Dad's in here, he can attest. Denver sucks for Instacart. They try and 80 units, going to have 20 gallons of water, and it pays $2.40 for 2 hours. I'm just like, dude, this is no tip. Like, seriously, dude. And they want me to pick up their produce. You're paying me $2. You want me to pick out your produce?
No, forget that.
Like,
nah,
dude, like,
they need to call a neighbor for that. Call a neighbor for that. Like,
I knew for a while. Like, I don't know about you. I'm picking off things. I try and get my private things going on too. I pick off things carefully. I make sure that I've got a good vibe with that person before I do it. I don't just kind of do it to everybody. Yeah. And there's some people that I don't like. I wouldn't want them as clients.
True.
So, like,
yep.
I mean, but when you started talking about personal rides, for a long time, I had been saying, you know what? I wanted to make a card with a QR code to my dumpling, because I have like over 70 deliveries, all 5-star ratings. My clients love me. And from the QR, it sends you right there. And so every Instacart, I've been doing Instacart on the weekends, and only a couple on Saturday and a couple on Sunday. And I'm very particular about which ones I take. So they're all $3. So why am I taking them? I'm not even looking at the pay anymore. I'm trying to make sure that maybe they don't need too many items, because the pay is going to suck. But I look to the house where it's going. If it's going to a McMansion, I take it. And in there, I shove my flyer. I'm rolling the dice. This is like full blown rolling the dice, because you were like, picking off private clients. I'm like, I wanted to do this for a while. I'm like, screw this, dude. I'm going to do it. I mean, what? They're going to deactivate me?
From what, $3?
Yeah, I mean, that's my point. Like, but I might as well pick off some clients from it.
Yeah. Because you got to take a risk, because they're taking a risk anyways.
Yeah, I do last mile and other things on the weekdays. I get up at 4 in the morning. I'm home at 5, 6, and I make good money just doing last mile. So people are like, why are you doing like $10 worth of DoorDash on Sunday and 10 on Saturday? And I'm like, because it's not about like, I don't, you could not pay me for it.
You're being paid to market yourself, basically, is what you're doing on the weekend. You're being paid to market yourself. So Instacart, DoorDash, they're paying you to market yourself to the people that you need to attract. That's all. And that's how we use Uber and Lyft. They're paying us to market ourselves. So you pay me to go pick up some kids from the bar. They're all going to get my card on the way out, and I'm going to get a phone call from one of those kids. Hey man, we got a group of 5. How much for? I'm like $30. Perfect. Hey, he said $30, guys, because I know the app will probably give me like 11. It's like $30. And it's like, all right, he said 30. Let's do it. Let's do it.
But like, I can sit down and show them how I can make almost twice as much, if not more, on deliveries, and I just admit that. And I tell them I'll get it so that you're paying at least 70% or less of what you were paying from Instacart for the same order. Because we know Instacart, this is just an example. Instacart, they mark up the items, they do the service, blah, 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 blah. So they like, by the time you're out of there, it's backwards screwed. But when you do it through Dumpling, I can type in their phone number. They get the in-store discounts. They can put in digital coupons, get those. Here in Colorado, you get gas points, so they save money on gas, all from my dumpling shop, and they get in-store prices. And you are required to give them the receipt, which is the opposite. Instacart says, do not give them the receipt.
Because they say, hey, don't be transparent. Don't show them how we're screwing them. That's what they're saying.
So my new thing is I just take the flyer, and I actually have been stapling the receipt to it.
You're going to have a bunch of people like looking at Dumpling now. You have a lot of us looking at it.
I actually have handwritten on those, like, please don't throw this away. I can save you a ton of money with A+ service. And I say you won't have to use Instacart anymore. I'm rolling those dice thinking everybody's got to hate it by now.
Yeah. And see, you gotta be proactive, because if you're not proactive and you're only reactive, you end up like I showed a video today of a lady crying about her not getting her YouTube check. She wasn't proactive enough in securing funding to pay all of her bills. She was reactive to YouTube just demonetizing her in a flash. Same way with this is all casino shit. You've got to be proactive in what you're doing. If you're going to be a true independent contractor, already have plan A, B, and C in order. When A falls apart, go straight to B real quick. And that way you're not just left in limbo like, man, I don't know what to do. So many people only have plan A. That's it. Plan A is wake up, turn on the app, drive from 6 to 6. That's plan A. They don't have a B. Well, what happens if you wake up and it's deactivated? I don't know what I'm gonna do, man. It's like you don't have a plan B.
First of all, I think everybody probably watching this, the days of single apping are over.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if not, like, I fully get on board with what you're saying. Get private clients. And of course you'll get them, but still use the apps. I mean, we got Uber, Lyft. You talk about Hum. I got familiar. I went and did production down in Miami last weekend, and I actually tried out InDrive.
Yeah.
Which was kind of interesting. I had the same driver got me to the show, to my hotel, got me to a haircut. The driver, when I landed, because I needed it before I worked the production. Yeah. So I was like, do you know where to get a haircut here? He's like, oh yeah, man. Takes me there. And he's like, I got to go run 2 errands. I'll be back in 20 minutes. You'll be done in about 25. I'm like, all right. Hooks me up with this dude, takes me to the airport. I'm like, can you come back here? And I was at Hard Rock Stadium, and because of Taylor Swift, it was just a nightmare with traffic and security. So I was like, you're not going to want to come pick me up. He's like, I'll come pick you up. But we worked out the whole damn amount when I landed. I know you can work out a ride, but I worked out the ride, the second ride, and the ride home 3 days later, and it was pay half up front.
All through InDrive?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Dude, InDrive is kind of like, it's like a dumpling too.
It's I know
they're only in Miami. They're the second largest rideshare company in the world.
No, InDrive?
Yes. Bigger than Ola, bigger than Didi. Yeah.
No.
They're second to Uber only. Check it out. I mean, I'm talking countries. They're only in Miami here.
Yeah. So they came over here and they're starting in Miami.
It's huge.
Yeah. So I like to see, because I know, Hum has the same thing, like scheduling within the app and stuff like that. But there has to be ways that we can create apps that are, because right now, a lot of us, when we do our schedules, I'm making alarms in my phone. 2 o'clock, don't forget to pick up such and such at 4:30. There has to be apps that we can do all of this stuff through. So it sounds like, InDrive is something that it can happen like that. Does Dumpling do the same thing though? Can you schedule stuff like that in the app of Dumpling?
Oh yeah. And there's communication within the app. I communicate with my clients all the time.
Oh,
They'll be
okay.
like, "Oh, I was going to put this order in today. I forgot, and now it's after your hours of delivery." I'm like, "What do you need?" They
See,
tell me,
that's
I'm
what's
like,
up.
"Let me
Personalized
finish up
service.
this, and I'll get it done for you. I'll probably be there in
Man,
about an hour."
I love the sound of that, because that customer, business relation, I love that, because everything going through Lyft and going through Uber, it's been filtered, and
Yeah.
they know they're getting a much bigger cut of that filter. Even when somebody says, "Hey, I need to make a stop over here," I'm like, "Do not put it in the app. They're going to charge you $14.99, and I'm going to get $4 of that." It's like, do not put it in the app. Just give me $10. That's it. QR code, I'll just give you 10 when I come out the store. Lady walks out, gives me 20. Hey, I'll just give you 20 anyway. You're so cool. Appreciate it. Do not put that in the app.
So how are you getting obviously you have to have some filter on. You're not just taking everybody as a private client. You're probably you have some criteria you're looking for in the riders.
Yeah.
You have to have a good vibe with them,
Yeah.
and
Vibe
otherwise you're not even going to say it, right? That's kind of what you're doing.
Yep.
Just
And
get
see
out.
me, and honestly, I'm a real bad get the fuck out. No,
Yeah.
but I use my 5 senses when I'm dealing with somebody. I
Mhm.
use smell, sight, hearing. I use everything. And if you can pass through these 5 senses, and I'm like, shake hand, whatever this and that, you a solid person. You smell good, you look decent, you got yourself together, you can potentially become a private client. But if
Mhm.
you're dusty and all stinky and shit, no, I might not want you in my truck again. You got to pass through the 5 senses. It's not just about, hey man, I'll give you $50. No, I don't feel like cleaning my car out for you, man. I just don't. And sometimes you got to be like that, man. And I keep it 100. I keep it real. When you go to a steakhouse, you can't just walk in there with whatever on, because it's a certain clientele that they're dealing with. When you walk in McDonald's, anybody can go to McDonald's. It don't make a difference. My car is like the steakhouse. It's not McDonald's. So it's like, if you want a McDonald's type of ride, just hit up Uber, Lyft. You want to come to the steakhouse level, hop in my car. Because I'll take the long ways, and I cruise. I show you stuff. I stop at stores for you, this and that. I do service way different. Cars always clean. Billy Proctor called me dusty yesterday. Called me riding dirty. He was like, "Man, Jeff, your truck look dusty as hell." I'm like, "I just dropped these people off. That's what." Man. Man.
So I need to ask, did you see Luis's Delivery TV? Do you know what Delivery TV is?
Yeah, yep.
Spanish community.
Yeah, because he comes on my channel every once in a while.
Yeah, Luis is a very good friend of mine. We work on a lot of projects together. Did you see the video that he made? I translated it from Spanish to English. It's 8 minutes. I really want to play it and talk about it, because he just put out everything that any channel has tried to put out. Best video of the year.
No.
Yeah, but there's some threats involved. His family, he's in Houston. His family has been threatened. I've met Luis in person many times. And it's a cartel thing. But it's all here in this video. So can we spend 8 minutes watching it? Because we'll have a lot to talk about.
Oh yeah.
Let's put this on, because everybody that hasn't, if you have already seen it, don't worry, just sit tight, guys, watch it again. Because again, I'm saying, if there was an award for the gig channels and best video of the year, this gets it already, and it's not the end of the year.
Yeah. Between him and Joe, they got some good videos.
This is the best one he's ever put out.
All right, let's see this.
Guys, check this out, because we're going to all have a lot to talk about after this.
The following video is based on information from portals, reports, complaints, and testimonies. The dark side of delivery apps, a network of fraud, bots, and fear.
What began as a revolution for independent workers is now plagued by alleged fraud, exploitation, and broken promises. Uber, DoorDash, Spark, Amazon Flex, all of these platforms once offered flexibility and good earnings. But the current reality seems to be much darker, from the commercialization of fraudulent accounts to potential identity theft. The gig economy is in crisis, and honest drivers are paying the price.
The rise of delivery platforms, an unfulfilled promise.
Just over a decade ago, these platforms offered something novel: job flexibility, and good earnings. The proposal seemed incredible. Being your own boss, working at your own pace, and earning a decent income. For some time, this promise was fulfilled. Drivers for Uber, DoorDash, Amazon, among others like Instacart and Shipt, were able to earn between $15 and $25 per hour before deducting operating costs. On average, they received around 70% of each trip or delivery, which allowed them to cover expenses such as fuel and maintenance and still left a sufficient margin to live comfortably.
The change, more drivers, less income.
Everything began to change in 2019. Demand grew exponentially during the pandemic, and with more drivers on the platforms, fares started to decrease for passengers. However, it is reported that the costs have been transferred to the drivers, who now face commissions of up to 70% from the apps, leaving many with only a fraction of their previous earnings. This pattern has been repeated not only with drivers but also with small businesses that depend on these platforms. In a conversation with Flex, an entrepreneur who launched a cloud kitchen, he told me that the commissions were so high, almost 50%, that he was forced to close his restaurant. So I start with the first question: who wins in this equation?
The platform. Undoubtedly, the platform is the one that comes out on top, whether it is Dorda, Sugar Eats, or Grubhub. The collapse of net profits.
For drivers, the effect was devastating. While they could previously earn between $15 and $25 per hour after deducting costs for gas, maintenance, and insurance, many ended up earning between $8 and $12 per hour. In Dorda, for example, drivers earn a base pay. Payments range from $2 to $10 depending on various factors, but the reality is that it is rare to see base payments exceeding $3 per delivery, which means that drivers heavily rely on tips to reach a decent income. However, due to high service costs, many customers have stopped tipping or have reduced their tips, leaving drivers trapped in a daily struggle to earn enough. The rise of fraud, fake accounts, and bots has compounded the issue. In addition to financial problems, an even bigger issue has emerged: fraud. When I started my YouTube channel, Delivery TV, I began receiving reports about the use of bots that accepted orders faster than human drivers, giving certain drivers an advantage. This was compounded by the alleged sale of fake accounts in a black market that has grown exponentially. Allegedly, malicious actors have created a black market for fraudulent accounts using stolen identities of American citizens, sold by individuals in South American countries to distributors in the United States. These identity packs would be sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars, which has severely affected legitimate drivers who have to compete against these accounts for work.
The trap in Amazon Flex and the manipulation of warehouses.
Amazon Flex has not escaped this problem either. Without the use of bots, it is practically impossible to obtain work blocks. Additionally, organized groups have taken control of many warehouses, where they decide who works and who does not. These groups, which often have colorful names like Free Money, intimidate drivers and in many cases distribute bots.
Internal complicity and organized scams.
The problem does not end with bots and fake accounts. Some reports suggest that employees within the platforms may be involved in the fraud. Just a few days ago, we learned about a fraud involving DoorDash for $1 million, where support agents were accomplices. In the case of Spark Driver, it has been reported that scammers exploit payment accounts from services like Branch and One to withdraw funds generated by fraudulent accounts, allowing withdrawals of up to $10,000 at stores like Walmart without requiring additional verifications, removing Branch or One as options in Spark, and leaving only direct deposits to the personal accounts of drivers. It could help curb some of the fraud, as it is one of the main tools used by users of irregular accounts to withdraw money, but all these suggestions always fall on deaf ears.
Manipulation of verifications and forgery of documents.
In addition to the use of fraudulent accounts, scammers allegedly manipulate facial verification systems and forge documents. Testimonies have revealed that workers within Spark, specifically from the company DDI, are allegedly selling links for amounts ranging from $1,000 to $10,000 to hackers so they can change critical information such as social security numbers and driver's licenses. These links would allow for unlocking deactivated accounts or creating fraudulent accounts, which further exacerbates the situation. Friends from Spark, friends from DDI, of course I offer you your right to reply. Do you have anything to say?
Consequences of identity theft fraud.
The problem of identity theft has escalated so much that recently Business Insider revealed how people who have never worked for Uber or DoorDash received 1099 forms from the IRS for income they never earned. A particularly striking case is that of Brandon Emerson, who received a letter from the IRS stating that his wife owed $10,000 in taxes for earnings from dollars that she never received. This is not an isolated case. Faith Gardner from Richmond, California, received forms totaling $66,000 in income from DoorDash, despite never having worked for the company. The sale of stolen identities is just one part of a much larger scheme that would be affecting thousands of American citizens.
The case of Priscilla Barbosa, the queen of the rideshare mafia.
Another notable case was covered by Wire, where Priscilla Barbosa was accused of generating over $780,000 through the creation and rental of approximately $2,000 fake accounts on platforms like Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, and Instacart. Barbosa, known as the Pi Queen of the rideshare mafia, operated a fraud network that allowed her to make large profits using stolen identities and fraudulent accounts. Adding Barbosa's fraud of over $780,000 reported by Wire and the $1 million fraud in Dorda revealed by 404 and CourtWatch, it amounts to almost $2 million, and this is just the tip of the iceberg.
The fear and insecurity of honest drivers.
This climate has created an atmosphere of distrust among legitimate drivers who fear reporting due to the risk of being intentionally disconnected or facing retaliation. The informants assert that those involved in the fraud are not usually violent, but the high level of money at stake could generate risks.
A broken system that needs to be corrected.
Today, what was once an innovative solution for flexible work has become a system plagued by corruption and alleged fraud. Drivers no longer trust the platforms that once promised so much. Although there are those who manage to make a living, the barriers continue to grow. The story of gig economy platforms is a story of broken promises, of opportunities turned into traps, and of a system that, if not corrected, continues to allow the alleged corruption to grow unchecked. My name is Luis Berti. Here I leave you a related video. And if you like this, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel.
Yeah.
I mean, it was tackled all quickly. I see a couple comments. I'm really glad that this guy, I know Luis, and but yeah, it's all real. Because I saw another comment from Sam that man, Sam, come on, bro.
He's feeling. I know it. But see, most of us who do ride share and we've driven it, we know Sam is just saying that shit for attention. Honestly.
Oh, I know. I'm just pointing out to everybody else listening. Luis is one of the most honest shooters there is. In fact, him and his family, he can't do gig work right now in Houston.
Damn.
There's people watching for him. Like Sergio and I did a live with him this week about all this. He has the documents because he went down there to see how the cartel operation works. He's Venezuelan. He went down with a Venezuelan to where they give you a car, 3 phones, and you come back at the end of the week and they just give you an amount of money. It's not even, there's no way to check what it is. Nope. You hand them the 3 phones and they just say, okay, cool. Here's $30. Now go do it again.
Man.
And so they know who he is. He released all this stuff along with a lot more. His main hope right now, and that's why I hope everybody that can, please share this, because we're trying to get as many media people to pick this up as can.
Oh yeah. And I think I'm partially getting shadow banned because of that airport video I put out. Kind of went like a little it was 30,000-40,000 views on it or whatever.
I was going to ask you that exact same question. I know you've talked about lately your channel's been a little throttled. And I was thinking, do you think it's because of your posting habits, or do you think it's like not necessarily just that video, but
it's my content. It's my content. And
yeah.
I mean, I've got emails from people. I have removed so many comments on videos saying, man, you better watch who you talking about. Remove. Man, you better watch it. Man, you don't know who you dealing with, man. You don't remove. I remove all those comments off my videos. And I know these people don't want me talking about it. And they keep posting comments on my videos trying to threaten me like I'm scared. I'm like, no, I'm leaving. Man, you better take these videos down because if the certain people see this kind of video, remove comment. I get rid of all them comments. I'm like, no, the truth has to stay up there. We're not going to let crime and corruption overtake an industry and put us all in fear. Nah, not happening like that. If y'all scared of being caught, then stop doing what you're doing because it's all out in the open. Everybody sees it. Yep, they all ops. That's it, all ops. Yeah, and that's what I'm like. I'm glad he made that video because a lot of us see it. You know, even out here in Rideshare, we see people at parking lots. We see people on the side of the road with black SUVs who you know damn well these people ain't bought them SUVs. Them SUVs came from somebody, and it ain't theirs. We see them all the time, all the time.
Yeah, I was telling Luis, I said, man, if you and your, he has, you know, 2 kids and his wife, and I said, if you guys have to literally kind of leave for a little bit, they've been up here before. I said, come up and visit again. And he goes, man, he goes, it would be an option, but the problem is you guys have the #1, Denver has the #1 per capita issue with the migrants, and it's only the Venezuelans. We have 53,000 of them.
Damn.
Undocumented. He's Venezuelan. He said, if I came up there, everybody'd hate me, and I didn't do anything wrong. So I'm now thinking about this whole other angle too. Like, dude, like, man, you're right, dude. You can't be a good Venezuelan in this town right now.
Yep. And that's the thing. It's the corporations that are involved in making money on the back end. It is the corporations and the politicians and everybody who's just sitting back, allowing it to happen. They see, because we're just average common people and we see it. You know, they see it because they see the data. They see everything in droves. They see the police arrest. They see the, you know, if you pull somebody over, you gotta just let them go. You know, give them a trial date. Like, wait a minute, trial date in like 2-3 years from now. And these people are just doing whatever they want to do for 2 or 3 years. It's like, you guys see what's happening. And for them to give our country away and expect us to sit around as Americans and watch this country just go into the hole and act like, well, we can't do anything because the people we voted in told us not to do anything. No, we change it all up. It's time to change it all up and say, if we're going to make this country about laws, rules, order, and about, you know, a system of priority. You mean the citizens should come first. When the citizens come first, because we pay the taxes and the salaries for all these people that we hire to do our government. So the citizens who pay for that should come first. After that, we go for other countries who have assisted us, not countries who's never assisted us, but are giving kickbacks to politicians. Some of these countries never even assisted us before, and we're giving them all this money. Yeah, people can't even tell you where these countries are located. If I ask you, well, where's Ukraine? People, oh, it's by Russia. Of course you know that, but if I never said that before the war, you wouldn't know. If I said, where's Venezuela? I don't know. Just point to it on the map. Yeah. The only reason why we know where these places are is because of the drama surrounding them. These countries have never, you know, did anything for America. So who are these politicians that these people are in the pockets of, allowing their citizens to come into our country and do this with our identities and our communities, with our economy? They're allowing this to happen. This is not just people sneaking and doing it. It's right in the open. We all see it. So for Luis to make a video about it, he's just stating the obvious. That's it.
This is a 1.5 years work of work that we did with para driver rights movement that David and I created. Luis got on board. He's been doing this stuff for about 1.5 years. He literally he did a test where he knew people who were doing these through the cartel operations, or I don't even want to say if it's necessarily the cartel. I know it is.
Yeah, it's organized.
I'm just being careful,
organized crime, because we know it's organized.
Yeah, I mean,
crime.
Listen, it's just bad players. But he knew people who were doing this. And again, we just saw in that video, one of the things at the end that I've been talking about, I think you've even talked about it, is I've said, man, these illegal accounts, and they're not just the undocumented. People get deactivated and go on Facebook, whatever it is, marketplace, and just buy a new account, even if they're from here. And now they're not paying. But we just saw in that video, people not paying taxes. That's been a concern of mine for a while.
Oh yeah. And
because it's not like these are dead accounts. They're not linked to nothing.
Yeah, they're linked to real numbers. Yep. And that's why, you know, when you get real deep in the government, you start talking about straw man and stuff like that. That's what this is dealing with, attaching things to people who never even did it. This is straw man, like legal stuff right now, where you got to go into court and prove that even though something's up under your name, it's not you as the human physical person. It's all straw man stuff. And it gets way deeper than what I'm even talking about. because there are people on YouTube, on Rumble, who dig deep into straw man and the why, even though something is in your name, no matter, you have a right, honestly, you have a right not to say anything because it's the Fifth Amendment, the plea. You have a right to not say anything. They have to prove that what is under your name actually came from you as a person. They got to prove that. Now, when you automatically agree to say, hey, that's me, I did, now it's like self-incrimination. So you just
I was
told
gonna say, in fact, even if you're 100% sure I didn't do anything, don't talk.
Yeah.
Don't talk till you get your head together. Like if you're in an accident or something, don't talk.
Yeah,
you can play your way out of that. You can just trade information, say I'm a little shaken up. Let's connect. Let's connect later on the phone, and
because you don't know what kind of play they're using against you. Because they could be running a play. So don't say a word.
Right. Because if you accidentally say, oh my God, even like, oh my God, was that my fault? And you put it in a question form, they're going to turn that against you and say, he knew it was his fault. No, I asked if you know, who knows what gets disconnected. Don't say anything.
Always remain silent and just let the facts in the situation make the evidence. Don't give somebody the evidence. And even just like you said, you just speaking, you're giving up evidence right now. And you have a right to remain silent. You don't have to say a single word. I'm saying, hey man, is that your car? Can I see your license, insurance? You ain't got to say nothing. Don't just get a license, insurance, trade stuff, be gone. Because if they never verify anything, they got to prove it.
But the other problem here is even with rideshare, these illegal accounts are doing it, and they're letting these people operate with paper tags that were expired in either last year, or I still see a ton of 2022.
Tons of tags out here, man.
Paper tags from 2022. That's 25. I've seen 25 months ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell, dude? And here's part of the problem, because we all know that insurance rates go like this, constantly going up. You're never going to get a dip. But when you have more and more and more uninsured motorists, it doesn't just go up, it goes woof.
It skyrockets. The risk, the area you're in.
All those drivers that do not have, and they don't have insurance, by the way.
Yep. Oh yeah. And you guys got to get underinsured, uninsured. For all the immigrants that are coming in driving with no insurance, that's affecting Americans' pockets, and people don't see that part of the equation. They just, they'll come over here and they'll just get deported. But once they get deported, my insurance is still the same. It's like, my insurance is not going to drop because we deported all these people. It's like, we've got to come up with a way to keep laws in place to prevent risk from entering our lives. When we let that risk come in, it's adjusted through all the rates we're paying for everything. You got to keep the risk out. And that's what people aren't. It's big. It's way bigger than what people think.
So last October 29th, David from Para and myself met with the FTC. My NDA ends this October 29th, which is the next Tuesday. So I finally
live stream on the 30th. No, I'm just kidding.
No, Sergio's under one now too. Gary Middleton has been he's had to talk to him. I don't know if they have the same conversation we did, but I finally get to talk about this. And there's some things that I've just been I've been hinting at, but I've been so careful. I get to just say it now or soon. And I'm very stoked to be able to do this, because take away from it what you want, guys, but you're going to see a correlation between state independent contractor. They've tried so many dumb options. Like let's give them a minimum wage, even though we never defined their space. Like, are you independent contractors? Well, you're gig app platform workers. Well, what does that mean? Well, you're kind of a hybrid of that. Well, then define it as that.
Yeah, you got to define it. It has to be in writing. Define
because there's just everything's left to interpretation right now.
Yep.
So you're gonna what judge you get that day? Who knows?
Yeah, exactly. Because when people just speak, like you said, if it's just expressed and people just speaking about it, anybody can interpret it any way they want to. Once it's in writing, now you have precedent. Now you can say this is what was determined in court. So we can now use this to either create minimum wages or not create minimum wages, to create ways that how we operate. Not tell people I operate like a true independent contractor, whether I'm laying concrete or making the pool, I'm driving the car, I'm stating my rates. People say, well, we don't have a right to state our own rate. I'm like, people walk up to my car all the time. I'm like, $85. Fucking Uber didn't tell me that. I said that. It's like, you have a right to, you got to know who you are. When you know your worth and you know who you are, and they can't say anything about you. Even Uber says You have to do rides on the app unless, when you see that unless, you have permits and insurances and stuff and under your state letter. Now you know none of this has to be done under the apps. Only they try to trap you under it and keep you from being in competition with them with that little clause, but they have to tell the full truth, which is why Lyft just got sued for $2.1 million for telling half truths. You gotta tell the whole truth. Say you cannot do rides outside of the app unless you are permitted, licensed, insured to do so. Once that happens, you can take people off of our app. You are our direct competition. They should just tell the whole truth, but they don't.
Yeah.
They give you subtle half truths and keep you scared and trapped and shit. It's gonna catch up with them too.
Yeah. I mean, again, one of the things Luis learned was the people involved in these schemes or with these bad players, they are taking every order. He tracked about 10 of the drivers and 10 drivers that work the apps and cherry pick and stuff. There's all kinds of things going on deeper than the video itself mentioned. There's those guys who take every offer. He found that none of them had facial ID.
Wow.
But the drivers who are cherry picking had facial ID on average every third time they logged on.
Wow. Because they got it on auto. They have it on auto.
Now, here's the worst part that was brought to my attention by somebody. That all the apps, I mean, Uber takes our license, take a picture, all this stuff, but DoorDash, I don't know what they do now with a new onboard, but when I onboarded years ago, many other people, they never got a picture. They never took our license. So they don't know my picture, right? Well, they have facial ID now. The fuck are you IDing against?
So they don't have your picture. You don't have any ID.
No, that's what we were talking about. Like
exactly.
we had a panel and like 10 of the 11 people said, yeah, I never uploaded a picture, license, nothing. And the other person said they didn't remember. So it might've been everybody.
Yeah. So,
but I mean, like when they say, hey, let's make sure you're you. From what?
Are you recording my phone when I'm not telling you to record my phone so you know who has my phone? Is that what you're doing? Because the only way you can, if you've never gotten a picture of me, how would you know it's me unless you're recording through my camera without me giving you permission to record through my camera? You wouldn't know. My kid could have this phone the whole time.
Even that.
And then he pulls up and is like, who's that? Oh, that's my dad. Wait, but so you must be on his phone playing games the whole time because every time we snap a picture, it's you, little kid. Yeah, it's my dad's phone. Give the phone to your dad. Like, yeah, y'all been recording on my shit. That's what you've been doing. Because if you never send them a picture of who you are, how would they know unless they're unauthorized entering your camera system? That's the only way they know it was you.
So, I mean, all these like Massachusetts 3250, Ron's in here, all the people I know in Massachusetts or in Boston too, like they make more than 3250, all of them. You know, or else they're not working. Like, yeah, because they work night shifts. They know when to work to make money.
That's the trick.
That just literally did nothing for anybody. And I mean, those are what I call the dumbass laws. Like they're just going nowhere. Like what is this minimum wage? We're independent contractors. Like you can't have minimum wage. So all this kind of weird stuff and active time. And I just hate all these things. But I mean, they're literally saying that, literally, if you are taking every $2 offer, we won't use facial recognition on you. So of course, that's why all the $2 offers are there. We always talk about why they're there. There it is, like that easy. That's why they're
exactly
there. Yep. Because why would they change it? But there's some lawmakers who are finally, dude, they were stupid for a long time. They did not understand this. They were like, I don't know. I sometimes use it to get food. I have no idea how any of this works. What do you mean? Do you want a union? And so the people that would go in and complain to lawmakers were like 50 people in a market like the size of Denver. We want a union. Okay, but 8 million of us don't. So listen, Congressman, don't listen to the 50 people that showed up that are whining because I was a bartender, ran a bar for 22 years. Like, you know what? Not everybody's made out for the service industry, period. Period. Nope. You can't force me into it. And you don't need to drop a grenade in it for the rest of us because you're all pissy.
Yeah. And the thing about most unions, people got to realize that the establishments that those people work at, those are very limited establishments. Like when you got the port union workers, there are only so many ports. I mean, when you have delivery drivers, there's restaurants everywhere. If it was only 2 restaurants in the state, yeah, you can probably say we're going to not deliver from those 2 restaurants. There's a gazillion restaurants. If there was a gazillion ports, then people say, okay, you guys can go on strike at this port. We'll just take it to this port down here because there's a million ports. Same with the schools. When the teachers go on strike, there's only so many schools in every neighborhood. So when those teachers go on strike, you say, okay, we got 10 schools, go on strike. We have way more than 10 restaurants. It's so hard to be a delivery driver and to go on strike because somebody's going to go to some restaurant and pick that order up no matter what. Same with rideshare. It's too hard to go on strike because somebody's going to pick up somebody from some house or from some job and get them there. It's too many infinite sources of work where when you go on strike, you have to have a finite amount of sources of work. You have to have one port, one hospital, one school in the area. That's the only way it's going to work. And it's like, nah, you'll never see me go on strike. Now, I go on strike every day. When I'm declining, that's me. Like, no.
Can't. Look, I hate to say this, but I've always said that when they strike Instacart or whatever, we've watched that. It doesn't even make a little bleep on the radar. And to Instacart, it's probably funny. They're like, oh, they're going to strike today. Let's see what happens. Nothing. Yeah. Not even affected. And to me, I've always said, listen, we're independent contractors. We're working off gig apps. There's not a collective where we're all like at the bar after work, or for the most part. There's some of us, but we don't have that. And on top of that, you couldn't be a union, but like why? I'm wondering why everybody wants to be in union, because you realize that's more of your money.
That's a control system too.
I mean, like, I don't know what you think.
Work, you can't go to work.
Like, I see these people going, I would just rather be an employee of Uber. Here's my guess. Not 1% of you would actually follow through on that bad call.
Nope.
I want to just be an employee. Really? Okay. Well, it's done. It's happening today. Well, I'm not going to actually be one.
You might got to take those $2 orders now. Yeah. But see, the thing is, they want to be an employee, but then they want all the amenities of being an employee, just not the actual duties of being one. An employee is a grunt. They're a grunt. You're going to be doing a lot of grunt work. And nobody wants to do grunt work at this level of life. I'm not going to be a 51-year-old letting some 23-year-old tell me, Jeff, do this, do that, or else I'm going to get fired for insubordination because I didn't pick up $2 orders and run all my gas out of my car. And it's like, you want all the amenities of being an employee. It's gig work. It is not true employment. It's a business that you have to make decisions for to be profitable for you. And if it's not profitable for you, then don't do it. Just like when I had that $150 offer and I told that lady $200, she said $150. I had to give it to Alan because it was profitable for Alan, but not for me because I'm 20 miles out. That means that's 40 miles round trip that I got to take in the calculation of what I'm doing. So I'm at 80. Alan's only at 40 or 50. That's it, because he's right there where they are. You got to sometimes say all money's not good money. As an employee, you can't make that decision. You got to do it. Jeff, you better go up, man. That's too far. I can't. You're going to get fired. You don't have that choice. That's why I'm glad, being an independent contractor. It's like, if I don't feel like working, I just don't. If I do, I do.
No,
and employees, you don't have a choice.
Yeah. I mean, Josh is standing here too. I almost forgot about Trent. So if you guys don't know Black Car Trent, he's down in Florida too. And he has a couple of cars. He kind of runs a couple other people, and he gets private clients and all that kind of stuff. But he did a similar thing. His wife is from Brazil, and she has a cleaning business, and every one of her 5 employees is an illegal or an undocumented. No worries. I'm just going to put it out there. One of them asked if they could use Trent's Lyft account. So Trent let him, and they took every order for a week. Every one they didn't ask about it. They didn't do anything. They took every one. Their acceptance was 100 for the week.
Damn.
Now, the next week they said, can I do that again? He said, I need you to do something. And that's what Josh is saying. I need you to not take every order. I'll let you use it one more week, but you need to pick selectively the orders that make sense. You don't have to take every one. As soon as that second week happened, every day they were facial recognized. The first week, not once.
Damn. And that was on Lyft?
Yeah.
I didn't know Lyft had facial recognition.
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Uber does me like that all the time.
I mean, it depends on the market you're in.
Yeah, exactly. Uber
you know
does
what I mean?
me all,
like,
and I don't even use
they love
Uber.
that. They love having 10 markets have something. 10 markets have this.
It throws us off.
North,
That's all.
you know, the Montana still has 50% top dasher. Top dasher is still a term, but it's not. Like they love it because then we all argue.
Yep.
No, I have a top dasher. No, you don't. Top dasher went away. It's tier system now. Like everybody's like arguing and they're loving it because they're like, dude, sweet. We don't have to have customer service because ours sucks anyway.
Any publicity is good publicity, especially negative, because with negative publicity, it's gonna make people try to jump on it. That's all it is, man. Same thing, same thing.
Yeah, I mean, these rideshare apps are nothing more than like what taxis were. They're nothing more than a digital switch dispatch system. That's all they are.
Ride finder service, dispatch system. And we don't even need to use their maps. We can use any map we want out there, whether it's Google, Waze, whatever. Use any map. We can use the navigation in our cars. We don't need their maps. But they want to keep everything trapped inside of that app because it's for data. They want to sell the data. How fast is he going? How slow is he going? What area was he in? Is it construction going? They're selling all of this data to civil engineers, all of this data to everybody. And we're creating the data and we're getting underpaid across the boards. So we're creating all the data. We're doing all the services. In the meantime, we're getting paid less and less and less. The moment you take it off the app and you're getting paid fair, they're not getting any of the data anymore. They can't sell it to insurance companies. They can't sell it to health companies. They can't do it. So it's like they're losing revenue when we do our own thing. They don't care about us being okay or not. We're boosting their pockets with every route we do in more ways than one. That's the thing.
I mean, I've said about Uber, like when they launched Radar, I was actually thinking to myself, I was like, because I was looking at it going, I don't even get it. I thought I was seeing something wrong the first time I ever saw it. I'm like, I don't get it. It looks like a pile of shit. I was like, I'm going, what is this? And I finally came up with a term that I used, which is radar is where horrible offers go to die.
Yeah. Trip radar, man, you might take one out of every like 150 out of trip radar. It's that bad, man. It is that bad. 11 miles away for a 4-mile trip for $9. It's like, I'm not driving 11 miles to get to somebody. They're gonna cancel when I'm halfway there. So I just drove like 6 miles for nothing. No, I'm not doing that. Nope.
And I'll give you one teaser that I will be talking about next week because I can kind of mention this a little because I'm going to let you guys do some research. I want everybody to go wherever you live, whatever state you live in. They're not long. Go look up under labor law in your state. Go look up independent contractors. It's usually about 2/3 of the way through the labor law. It's not a big thing. They all kind of read the same. Either the second or the third thing that is a must in every state, and I won't say anything more than this, is that all independent contractors have the right to use any and all tools they decide to use without interference from the offering or bidding company.
Yep. Don't look up subcontractor, independent contractor, because
which is what we're called in the TOS.
Yep. And people try to, well, you guys are just subcontractors. No, independent is two totally different things. So look up independent contractors. So I looked up subcontract. No, that's not what I said. Independent.
Yeah, I mean, I saw somebody mentioning Gary Middleton's, Josh just said it again. Gary Middleton's apps like Maximo and stuff. Those guys, those aren't like to get you the best offers. Like even Gary himself says it. Those are safety apps.
Because
you set all the parameters. You set, I don't want to see any orders less than 2 on this app, but you set everything and you got all kinds of dials. But when you take one, everything else turns off. When you're done, they all turn back on. Dude, they like, that's what I'm kind of getting at. That's a tool we should be able to use. They don't allow that tool.
See, and that's
it's a third-party tool we can't use. So guess what? They don't integrate it themselves. Lawmakers are now aware of this. They don't integrate it themselves. And they've been shown that, well, what is that app doing? And the Kevin Kiley from California argued, saying that he was congressman. He said that, well, it doesn't matter what they're doing because they're free and clear of the hire. Who cares? Exactly. That's up to them what it is. But he did finally say, but you know what? Many of them are safety apps that the apps should have in them themselves, and they don't. And they want you having to make a decision in an intersection.
That's why Lyft started doing it. All of a sudden putting per hour, how much you're going to make per hour, per mile, this and that. They started putting that in there because they knew we could use any tool we wanted to get the job done as being independent contractors. They said, well, let's make them not want to use other tools. How many years these apps have been out and never put per hour on it? They waited until after Gary Middleton and all them had these fights. And now they're like, well, let's just put per hour on ours then. Because they want to do everything. We'll just put it right on the screen. This will be $42 an hour. It'll be $111 per hour. Yeah, but I only get one ride for $7 this hour. I'm not getting a lot. Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That's my appointment right there, man.
All right.
Yeah, so I got about another hour to go get this truck cleaned up and shower.
You guys, I could get into 100 other things with Jeff, but we'll do another one soon.
Oh yeah. I
just wanted to scratch the surface. We had been talking about this for a while, so we've scratched the surface now. Now we can come back in with some real bad details, especially post-election when the trolls go away a little bit.
This is gonna be good.
Because I'm like you, dude. I don't mind burning it to the ground.
Yeah, and I'm like, you know what? If it happens,
like I don't want to hurt. I'm not saying same thing I said about the grenade. Don't trash it for everybody. I'm not saying that. I'm not going to trash it for everybody, but I'm all about if they're going to play like this, let's call them out. Let's burn them to the ground.
Yeah. And like I said, I just say what everybody sees as to being the obvious, and they don't like it when people speak about the obvious. They want to, label it conspiracy theory, but then when it comes out to be true, they don't ever want to say that they were wrong about it the whole time. They just move to the next, labeling something wrong. It's like, dude, these are not theories out here. We have a right, an American right, to speak about something that we have a hypothesis about based on the research that we have done. If we have a theory, then it's called a theory. Scientific is based on theories. All this is based on theories. If we believe someone is conspiring together to do something, it makes it a conspiracy theory, not a scientific theory. So we take those conspiracies, we start linking them together, we create a theory, they call it conspiracy theory. When it becomes truth, it's no longer a theory, it's now proven. So we should have a right to speak about conspiracy theories, but they want to say it makes people think, and they don't want people to think. They want people to just follow a narrative. Don't speak about a theory, only speak about science. Well, science is nothing but theories, and science changes because it's theory that changes based on the new evidence that came out. Conspiracies change based on the new theories that come out. This is what we do over here. We speak on it, man.
So last little tip to you guys. If you want to Google something funny and learn something you might not even know about, you might even live in the Las Vegas area and you might not know this. Guys, Google Uber Eats Rico case, Las Vegas.
Ooh, this is a good one.
I'll leave it with that. We're not going to get into it tonight, but I'm just saying, you guys can go do some of your own research on this. Go look it up. There's something major going on there. And again, RICO would imply all the platforms.
Because it's conspiracy, racketeering, it's all of them together.
Right.
Collusion.
If they can apply it to Uber, they'll just attach it to DoorDash, Lyft.
Because they're all pretty much the same.
You guys are all doing the same. Well, we're not doing exactly that. We don't care. You're doing so much sketchy stuff. We're just going to tie you all in.
And prove, your innocence at this point, because we've got enough to prove that you're not innocent. That's why that 2.1 million, I'm telling you, man. And I've made videos about Lyft lying about how much they're claiming they're paying people. I did a whole video about what's guaranteed versus bonuses versus. I did a whole video about that because it's sketchy language that they use to trick people who don't think fast. Because people are like, oh man, look at this. I get, $1,200 guaranteed, man. I'm gonna do all these rides, and at the end, I'm gonna get this $1,200. No, it's guaranteed.
Right.
Like, if you make 1201, they ain't paying you shit because it was guaranteed to be 12.
And they'll throttle you down near the. We all know the game.
Yep. That's it, man. We've done this for a long time.
Look, I mean, they say it's an algorithm, and we don't like that. I'm starting to think this is the way conspiracy side of me is that some driver accounts are like actually being monitored by an actual person. Like, I hate you. You're getting this offer.
Oh yeah.
It's not even with the algorithm.
Coding, man.
It's coding. Sitting there like, screw you, man. Here's another $2. You like that?
Exactly. Put all these accounts in the red code, put all these accounts in the blue code, put all these accounts in the green code, and they just start throwing us in different codes. And it's like, man, I've been red coded.
Yeah.
It's like, what? My account sucks this week. I'm red coded. It's like, man. Well, all right, Steve, my brother.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you for having me, man.
Yeah. We got a lot more to talk about. We'll get past this election, guys, and we'll have a lot more to talk about.
Oh yeah. We're gonna let this happen. I ain't gonna tear up YouTube too bad.
Yeah, no. But you guys, thanks for joining us. Jeff, thanks for joining both channels. Thanks for joining. This is the kind of collabs we need. Too many content creators hear things I say or Jeff says, and they regurgitate them. And I don't mean this mean. Well, yeah, I do. because they say it wrong.
Yeah.
Don't be regurgitating if you don't understand what we're talking about.
Comprehension, man.
Email me. Email Jeff. I know he's open to an email. Email
Oh,
him.
yeah. Yeah.
Ask him a question before you make something that's completely wrong because you heard something and took it the wrong way.
Yep. You got to understand the depth of it. And I tell people all the time, man, it's all about comprehension. And once you comprehend something, you understand it. You don't have to memorize it. There's levels to it. And I always wear a shirt that says there's levels to this. Understand how deep some of this stuff can go. And just like I said, shoot Steve an email. Say, hey, man, I heard you say something. What did you mean? He'll dive deeper into it with you. And he'll even make a video about it. Because I
might not even have the answer, but I've done this enough times where I might go, oh, that's a great question. I'll start here, and then I'll give them a little tidbit of information. They'll run with that. They'll tell me something. It's a collaborative. Like they don't think they can do it, and I push them in the right direction. And they're like, wait, I can look this up myself. I'm like, yeah, duh.
Yeah, research all the time, man, all the time. Yeah, thank you. Go gig it, run, man. Like I said, we'll have. I think with the year when the year flips, like I said, after this whole election is over, we're gonna have a panel of 4 drivers from different regions, and we're gonna compare notes on what cash ride notes. How we're doing this and that. We're gonna compare notes to see if we can make a video that helps drivers that are stuck make a decision within the next 30-40 minutes. How's my night going to go? We need that panel right there, man. If you get stuck, that video will help you get out of a rut within 30 minutes, guaranteed.
All right, guys, be safe, earn smart, and don't take shit from no one. We'll be back here soon. Nobody.
That's right. And don't forget, if you don't like them, tell them, get the fuck out. My car.
Great ending point. We'll just end it there. Get the fuck out. Later, Jeff. Later, everybody.
Man, that was hilarious. That was funny.